Have you ever found yourself feeling self-conscious about your appearance, wondering if you're as attractive as you think you are? It can be tough to gauge our own attractiveness, especially when we tend to scrutinize ourselves more closely than we do others. But it's important to remember that our worth and appeal isn't solely determined by our appearance. That being said, if you're curious about how others perceive you, there are a few things you can look out for. For example, do people often make positive comments about your appearance or give you compliments? Do you find that people are generally drawn to you or seek out your company? These are all signs that you may be more attractive than you realize. Here are a few clues that you might be a lot more attractive than you think. Number 1, people often do a double take. Have you ever noticed someone and couldn't help but take a second look? There can be many reasons for this, but one possibility is that you found the person appealing and wanted to keep looking. If someone gives you a second glance, it could be a sign that they find you attractive and are trying to catch your attention. If this happens to you frequently, it's a good indication that you are considered a good-looking person. Number 2, people smile when they see you. Have you ever noticed that you get friendly smiles from strangers when you're out and about? If this happens to you often, it could be a sign that people find you attractive. It's much more common for people to smile at someone they find attractive than someone they don't. In fact, we tend to subconsciously smile at things or people that we find aesthetically pleasing. While a smile can sometimes be a way of flirting, more often than not it's just a natural reaction to something that we find pleasing to look at. So if you find that you get a lot of friendly smiles from strangers, you might want to consider that you might be more attractive than you think. Number 3, people raise their eyebrows when they see you. Have you ever noticed someone raise their eyebrows when they look at you? This is usually a sign of surprise or being caught off guard. If someone raises their eyebrows when they see you, it could be a sign that they find you attractive. Like smiling, raising eyebrows is a natural reaction that is controlled by the brain. It can be done consciously, but more often than not, it's an unconscious response. So if you catch someone raising their eyebrows when they see you, it's likely because they find you good-looking. Number 4, strangers stare at you. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like strangers were staring at you in public? It can be unsettling and make anyone feel self-conscious. But if this happens to you frequently, it could be a sign that you are more attractive than you realize. When we see someone we like or find attractive, we often can't help but stare at them. Their presence demands attention, and someone who can turn heads so easily must be attractive. So if you find that you often have all eyes on you, it could be a sign that you are an attractive person. Number 5, people seem to enjoy talking to you. Have you ever noticed that others seem to naturally come up to you and start conversations, regardless of where you are or what you're doing? If this happens to you frequently, it could be because you are considered attractive. It may not seem fair, but those deemed more attractive often receive better treatment and more positive attention than those who are average looking. Attractive people seem to have a certain pull that draws others in. This might not always be a romantic attraction, but could simply be because of the symmetry of your face or how well put together you are. In other words, we tend to enjoy engaging with attractive individuals more than others. Number 6, when you do get a compliment, it feels insincere. Have you ever received a compliment and felt like it was given in a casual or offhanded way? It can be frustrating when people only mention your appearance in passing, as it can make you feel insecure. But the truth is, they sound indifferent because you look great all the time. If someone is attractive, it's not unusual for people to just casually comment on their appearance when they make a change or wear something new, rather than gushing over them all the time. So if you receive a compliment that sounds casual, it could be a sign that you are considered attractive. Number 7, you rarely get compliments. Have you ever felt confident in your appearance and expected to receive a lot of compliments, but then didn't get as many as you expected? It's natural to doubt yourself and wonder what might be wrong when this happens. But the truth is, it could actually be a sign that you are considered attractive. If you're not getting many compliments, it might be because people think you already know how attractive you are and don't feel the need to remind you. Some might even think that you're tired of all the attention. So if you've experienced this before, it could be a sign that you are more attractive than you realize. Number 8, people may act differently around you. Have you ever noticed that people seem more anxious or nervous around you than they do around others? Do they act differently and seem confused or flustered when you approach them? It's not uncommon for people to feel intimidated by those they find attractive, and it can be hard to keep from getting flustered when we're around someone we like or find attractive. If you notice that others are consistently acting strange around you, it could be because they find you attractive and don't know how to talk to you or what to say. This can be a sign that you are more attractive than you may have realized. Number 9. Others go out of their way to help you. Have you ever noticed that others seem to go out of their way to help you or ease your troubles, even if they are strangers? This is often an unfair benefit that good-looking people have, as most people are more likely to be friendly and generous towards those they find attractive. If you've noticed this happening to you, it could be because you are considered an attractive person, both in appearance and personality. We tend to subconsciously be more helpful and friendly towards those we find attractive. So if you find that people are quick to offer assistance, it could be a sign that you are more attractive than you think. Number 10. You had multiple occasions where someone obsessed over you. Have you ever had someone who seemed to obsess over you, whether it was for a short time or a longer period? If you're considered a good-looking person, it's likely that you've experienced this at some point. Maybe it was a stranger who seemed to follow you around at a party, or an acquaintance who kept texting you despite your attempts to brush them off. This can be further evidence that people find you physically attractive. So if you had experiences like this, it's a good indication that you are more attractive than you may realize. Number 11. You get lots of direct messages. Are you constantly receiving messages in your social media direct messages, whether you're in a relationship or not? It's not uncommon for attractive people to receive more attention on social media, and this can be a good way to gauge whether others find you attractive. If you find that many people are texting you frequently, it could be a sign that you are considered good-looking and they want to get to know you better. So if your DMs are constantly filled with messages, it might be a sign that you are more attractive than you realize. Number 12. People are surprised by your insecurities. Have you ever found it hard to believe that the people you admire or put on pedestals can be just as insecure as you are, despite how amazing they seem? It's easy to assume that they have nothing to worry about, but the truth is that everyone struggles with low self-esteem sometimes. This might be why most people are surprised when you mention that there are certain aspects of your appearance that you're not happy with or want to change. They probably don't even notice any flaws that you see in the mirror, as they seem minuscule to them. So if you're feeling insecure about your appearance, try to remember that others might not see the same imperfections that you do. Number 13. Relationships seem to come easy to you. Have you ever experienced repeated failed relationships or short, meaningless hookups and felt like it was a sign that you are unattractive? While it can be frustrating, it's important to remember that having an active romantic life is actually a sign that many people find you attractive. It's just a matter of building emotional maturity to be able to maintain a relationship. So if you've had experiences like this, don't be too hard on yourself. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are unattractive, but rather that you may need to work on your emotional maturity in order to build successful, lasting relationships. Number 14. Others tend to have strong feelings about you. Have you ever noticed that people tend to display extreme feelings towards you, whether they are negative or positive? Some may seem overly friendly or extremely cold and harsh, and it can be difficult to understand why. It's possible that these extreme reactions are because they find you attractive and either want to get to know you or feel intimidated by you. Others might act petty towards you because they are jealous of your appearance, while others may try to find ways to talk to you and be around you. If you've experienced this, it could be a sign that you are more attractive than you realize. In conclusion, there are many signs that you may be more attractive than you think. From receiving friendly smiles and compliments from others, to having people go out of their way to help you or make conversation, these are all indicators that people find you attractive. Additionally, if you have a lot of social media followers or receive messages in your DMs, or if people seem to act differently around you, these could also be signs of your attractiveness. It's important to remember that attractiveness is subjective and that your worth is not solely determined by your appearance. But if you've noticed any of these signs, it could be a good indication that you are more attractive than you may have thought. Thanks for watching.